Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel is Finding Value. Today we're going to do our daily technical analysis update of commodities, work our way through the dollar yields, precious metals, and commodities ETFs that I follow. And again, if you need any help, check out finding-value.com, become a platinum member, use the word discount in the coupon code if you want to join. And we're going to jump in here and I'm going to give you my financial opinions. So let's go. Let's dive right in. And we're going to start with the dollar. So the dollar is lower today, but it still, to me, looks like it wants to go slightly higher. We keep getting these wicks on the bottom. These are bouncing and reversing on up. So let's look at yields. Yields are the things that drive the dollar, monetary tightness. And we've got a weird kind of setup here. We've got the 2-year that's higher today. So we're up today on the 2-year. We're down on the 10-year. And we're down on the 30-year. And to me, it still looks like we could go higher, as weird as that is. And the dollar still looks like it could bounce to the upside here. So higher dollar, higher yields is what I'm going to have to go with by looking at the candlesticks and how they look. This is a bullish setup here. This is a hammer candlestick. And then the 2-year, it's up. But these guys also have continuation. They're little down candlesticks called bloody noses that generally work their way on up. The TYX TNX ratio, we are inverting that curve. Gold doesn't like that. Doesn't like the yield curve inversion. But we did have the dollar down a little bit, and yields were not aggressively up. So more than likely, it's going to be a flat precious metals price. Bond prices still sticking in there. They're just kind of sitting, moving sideways, battling back and forth. But if yields were to go higher, this is going to go lower if that is the case. Gold moving sideways. We're up $1.50. And it just looks like we're just chilling out here, bouncing, trampoline bouncing sideways. So we're above support. Everything looks good. We're just waiting for the market conditions to settle themselves. Silver up, bouncing off support. And that's where we're at there. And then platinum just basically moving sideways. So gold looking fine, silver looking fine. Platinum still needs to reassert itself if it wants to move higher. I still like platinum very much, but we are down a little bit. XAU to gold ratio down a teeny bit. Still looks good to me to go higher. You've got the drive off the bottom here and then the small kind of sideways motion. Those generally, you get flag patterns. You can get ones that come like this. It all depends what it creates, but generally that works its way up. CRB index, small little down day today. Again, this is a continuation pattern possibly to the upside, but we're underneath resistance. Usually when it comes to this, I kind of just do hands off. Like, all right, just when you make up your decision, let me know. And that's basically what some of these are if you're just bouncing sideways like they are on these resistance support levels. CRB to S&P 500 slightly higher, but this still looks to me like it wants to head lower in a larger kind of downtrend line. GDX slightly lower. It still looks good to go higher though, because we've got big buying pressure, no selling pressure. Well, at least not yet. So that still looks good. GDX still looks good, and SILJ still looks good. They're all the same type of setup. SILJ is underneath this resistance line, but we've got support going across that way. Crude oil down 1%. Let's zoom in on it. There we are. Is this a... Oof. So we're basically just bouncing sideways here. I don't see a clear path. You could say this is larger selling pressure. We come bounce and we come back down. It's possible. We're on support though, and we've got lots of support underneath us. So we'll see where this thing goes. It's basically locked between some selling pressure and support. Natural gas just moving sideways. It's still basing out. Eventually this will break, do something pretty cool in the future, hopefully. Yeah, we'll see where it goes. XOP, yeah, you know me. We're trying to break through this resistance line here. We broke out, not much selling pressure, got a little bit of selling pressure today, still have a wick on the bottom. which means we bounced, we sold off and kind of came back up. Closing price, opening price. What direction is this thing going to go? Tough to say. We could go back into the pattern, come back down here before going up. We could just end up going higher. And this is your retest. Again, I don't play the short-term market movements. I play the bigger picture view. Bigger picture view, this is a shoulder, head, shoulder. And I don't know if it's going to end here or if we get one last move down there. But we're getting closer and closer with time. OIH down 0.77%. Again, I mean, that is a bearish engulfing that generally heads lower. But we do have a little wick at the bottom, so buyers did come in throughout the day, at least buy it up a little bit. I still think overall we're going to go higher in the short term even, not the really, really short term. Really, really short term, we could go down, we could go sideways, but this setup, this whole cluster of a setup usually resolves itself to the upside. Sprott Physical Uranium Trust still looking good to try to punch through the 1815 level. We've got large buying pressure, the big green candlestick, small selling pressure. So this still looks like it's going to try to launch through it. URNM also exhibiting the same type of traits. We'll see if we can pick up and gain that momentum to the upside again. URNJ, same thing. We came back and touching this support level. We'll see if we can get some buying pressure coming up over the next few days. TAN down a little bit. Man, it's a bearish engulfing right there. Maybe we do have a little bit left to go to the downside. Now, I know people are saying basically what we're doing is we're flip-flopping back and forth in this little area. The buyers equal the sellers. They're flipping each other back and forth, selling pressure, buying pressure, selling pressure, and it's not really consolidating. What I mean by that is you get these little days. I mean, those are what I usually see, but you get these large up and large selling pressure days kind of all jumbled in here as well. So kind of interesting to see this volatility. We'll see which way it breaks for a lot of these. I think a lot are going to break higher eventually here. Copper still killing it, up 2.45%. But bigger picture view, I mean, we're just chopping, guys. We are chopping all through here. Lithium, we broke out yesterday. It looks like we might be doing a little bit of a retest thing. Again, we'll see. I don't play this, like I don't play the day-to-day movements. Would I buy it here? Yes, I would. And I would just hold on and let it rip. That's what I'd do. Same with REMX. I would be looking at it in this general vicinity. Even if it pulls back in, I would. And then let it rip after it breaks out of this bigger pattern here to the upside. So those both look good. You've got your double bottom. You usually get a little hangout here, and then I buy it generally in this general location right where it's at. SPX moving sideways today, but still looks okay. And then the NASDAQ also up today, still looks okay to move higher. Emerging markets, we had that little bit weaker dollar. This looks fantastic to move on up. I think emerging markets looks really good in this general spot down here. Really good spot to move on up. XHB, the housing home builders, a little bit more selling pressure. Maybe we head a little bit down back and do a retest of this breakout. So short-term downside pressure there. A little bit of short-term downside pressure here. This is a opening price, a closing price below the 50th percentile. That is a bearish piercing, which generally heads lower in the short term. And we might only get a day or two out of it. May only go down like here, and then we get a nice little reversal hammer candlestick, and then we're back in business again. I'm going to leave that there. That's my guess. Copper up today, 0.72%, right above support. Or resistance support. There's that guy going across there. There's that strong resistance support line, and we'll see which way it goes. I don't really see a clear path. I mean, it looks like it could go higher, but iron ore up 1.35% in the short term, and I do think it will work its way higher. I think copper will too. Nickel, I think, is going to work its way higher over time. It's trying to base out, I think, right at support. And the other base metals are catching a bid, so I wouldn't see why nickel wouldn't at some point. Aluminum's also catching a bid today, about 1%. I do think that will work its way on up. It looks like we're up against support area. And we can see that we're consolidated too. Opening and closing prices are close together. I think aluminum could rip it at some point here. Baltic Dry Index continuing higher. We'll see if we bounce around here before moving on up. I do think eventually we'll work our way up. We've broken out of this falling wedge, break out, higher low, and then we got to break this for a higher high into a new uptrend. Newcastle Coal Futures basing out. Give it some time. Just relax there. It's going to take some time for this to base right above its support level. Ethereum down 3%, getting more selling pressure, coming into its support level. Is this a retest or is this going to break back down? There we are. Bitcoin doing the same thing. We're back out to this breakout and we'll see what happens here if we get support and if we launch higher or if we're going to break back down. This is an inverted shoulder, head, shoulder, a breakout. Maybe it's a retest and then we head on up. We'll see. But that's what I've got for today, guys. That's kind of what I'm seeing in the charts. Really mixed bag, to be honest, here in the short term. I saw there was a build in oil. Someone mentioned that there was a build in oil. So we've got that going on as well. Eventually, the cuts will hit us at some point. We'll see and find out when that point is. It should be soon when the cuts start to hit the first cuts, not the second cuts, the first ones. The second one I don't think starts till July. But yeah, that's what we've got in the overall markets, guys. Give me a thumb up for the content, subscribe to the channel, subscribe to the website. I know it's not a real exciting kind of move. I'm just kind of sitting there waiting. And sometimes you just want to wait, not do anything. And that's kind of where I feel. I just kind of feel like I want to sit here and do kind of nothing. All right, guys, we'll catch you later. This is Finding Value.